very privileged to see you here this morning, sir. Other distinguished guests on the podium, but most especially all of you out there in the audience, the many volunteers, students. I see people of all ages that have come and gathered here today. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. It is a very great pleasure to be here for this joint initiative to celebrate International Volunteers Day here at Manila Bay, with so many prospective volunteers for promoting volunteerism for the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals here in the Philippines. We would like to thank every one of you who has been involved in the planning and organising for this joint volunteer activity, and would like to thank all of you here gathered today for your volunteering spirit as an inspiration to action. I was present last year at a Volunteer Day activity, and I think there would have been about 500 people there. This year I'm told there are over 5,000 of you gathered here this morning. That is just fantastic. The United Nations Volunteers Program was established in 1971 to promote peace and development through volunteerism. Since the start of that UN volunteer program, tens of thousands of mid-career professionals, as well as young professionals and students, youth volunteers from all countries, all of them have made a significant contribution to the efforts of the United Nations, to governments, to community groups in fostering peace and development. Currently, the UN has over 8,000 UN volunteers around the world, and I have to say that many of those are from Philippines. They inspire others to advance peace and human development through voluntary services. Here, actually in the Philippines, we have around 10 UN volunteers serving for the government and other organizations. And 2 UNVs are working in the field in Mindanao, particularly focusing on peace and development. Every year we mark the International Volunteers Day on this day, December the 5th, to further promote our volunteerism as an inspiration to action. And this year I'd like to introduce the message from the International Volunteer Day from our Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, if I may read his speech on his behalf. On International Volunteer Day, we recognise millions of people around the world who give their time and talent to tackling global challenges. From volunteers working in their own communities on climate change adaptation and poverty reduction, to those supporting global causes of peace, justice and the Millennium Development Goals. 40 years ago, the United Nations General Assembly called for the establishment of the United Nations Volunteer Program. Since then, tens of thousands of UNV volunteers have contributed to our global mission, working with many UN organizations, programs and agencies, as well as peacekeeping and special political missions. I commend the engagement of these committed volunteers. I also welcome the strong growth in more recent years of online volunteering, which connects people, professionals, students, homemakers, and people with disabilities around the globe, and provides them with opportunities to contribute to development and the work of the United Nations. Still relatively new, online volunteering has great potential, and I encourage all partners to explore what more can be done to harness the power of the internet in this way. This day also celebrates the involvement of many other volunteers working with governments, NGOs, civil society, and their own communities to improve the lives of people around them. Volunteerism helps bring us together as individuals and societies. It is a powerful means of mobilizing all segments of society as active partners to build a better world. Together, let us strengthen the institutional frameworks that support volunteerism. Together, let us see the 10th anniversary of the International Year of Volunteers, which we will mark in 2011, to find new areas where volunteering can make a difference. Let us honour volunteering as an expression of our common humanity and a way to promote mutual respect, solidarity and reciprocity. That is the end of the Secretary-General's message. You heard from him that next year is a very precious year, as we will mark the 10th anniversary of International Year of Volunteers. And we hope many people here will be part of this volunteer initiative throughout 2011. And the UN will be engaging in discussions with the government, and we hope we will be hosting some regional events here in the Philippines so that we can really make an impact and be able to highlight the wonderful work that all of you do. Finally, I'd like to wish that many people will join us for volunteering for Millennium Development Goals towards the better future for our next generation. Let's start planting our seeds of peace and development through our volunteerism for our future generations. Maraming salamat and mabuhay.